I decided that when I was 68 that I was going to retire probably when I was 70. That was driven by a couple of things. No president of a Regents institution has stayed longer than age 70. And I was getting more and more grandkids and wanting to spend more time chasing them. So I was thinking that I would retire. We entered into an agreement over a year before that I retired. And everyone agreed that it would be kept a secret. Because I thought as soon as I announced my retirement, then you lose some of your ability to really provide leadership. They understood that and they didn't want me to announce. So in August and September of my last year, I went to the board and I said, you want to have a new president in place by commencement to start July 1. So let's back up. How long do you think it'll take you to run a search for the presidency? So they said, well, it's 2 months, 3 months, whatever. So I said, okay, I would like to announce my retirement then between Thanksgiving and Christmas, which would then let me get through the fall semester. We picked a date, and the chairman of the board was coming out, and the chairman of the board would go around and visit each of the campuses once during his year as chair, or her year as chair. And so he was coming out for that meeting, and that was the cover of why he was going to be here. And so today I am announcing that I've already sent to the Board of Regents earlier in the week a letter indicating that at the end of this contract period, at the end of June, that I will step down as president of Fort Hays State University. I announced it to the campus, and the chair then announced what the plans were on the search, and the rest of the thing like that was played out. So that's how it was all handled. So I turned 70 in May and retired shortly after that. And since then, I've been very happy to be a faculty member in AEP and got to help start a new master's program in higher education student affairs and got to teach about leadership and management and institutions and student success. And it's been a great year, but this will be my last year. I play a lot more golf than I did when I was president, and I ski a lot more. My goals have been to try to ski 30 times a year and play golf 60 or 70 times a year. I'm getting to see the grandkids swim in state swim championships and compete in dance contests, and been involved in their college choices, and ones at Mizzou and ones at Temple, and their career discussions, which it's been a blessing. So I've been able to spend a lot of time doing those kind of things, as well as, I help out the university any way I can. If I'm asked to do something, I'll be happy to do it. The one thing that I remember was not a public event. It's when I was first presented the information that we had exceeded 10,000 students. So many people thought we were making a major mistake about our tuition strategies and keeping tuition low, and they didn't believe you could generate money by growth to the same extent. So when we finally got, I think it was 2008, we went north of 10,000 students in 8-9. Karen Allen, my administrative assistant, brought in the report that showed that we had 20th day figures that were above, exceeded that. That I will never forget that day. And of all the things I've ever been given, that is, and I think I still have that report, because there were so many people that thought we were making a mistake. Some faculty thought we were making a mistake and it was going to hurt their ability to get salary increases. And the reality was we were able to do better. I mean, we started that 10-year run from 2000 to 2010 with Emporia and Pittsburgh being paid better than we were, and we finished with our faculty making more money than their faculty, even in base contracts. So there was so much that, in effect, I guess I bet on that achieving that growth objective is something I'll never forget, that event. The other things that flashed in my mind, the national championship in Louisville, because my son Lance was on that team, and being out on the court with the team when the CBS network presented the trophy to Gary Garner and the team, and the guy was wanting to give it to me, and I didn't make a basket. I didn't miss a shot, so that may have been a good thing, but that was a very special time, not only because we won and the way we won, we remained undefeated, and the way in which Kansas adopted our team because we won the national championship. We couldn't fly into Hayes. We had to fly into Salina because the plane was too big to land here. So we had to bus. But there were police escorts all the way from Salina all the way to Hayes. People were on the overpasses all the way here. And it was late at night when we got back, and there were thousands of people waiting for us. They opened up Gross, and the victors got to bring the trophy to the fans, and that was a neat event. And then just the individual there, I'm thinking of literally 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 students who've come back and, and come up to me and said, either Dr. Hammond or some, even at Oktoberfest, Fast Eddie, you need to know that I still have the picture from your SRP. I run into families all over the state that still have that picture and remember the first time they met us and what we said about Fort Hays and how it was exactly true. And there's so many things that, the dedication to Hammond Hall, the fact that the Doles came back for that. I was just blessed. I tell people, I'm not as good as you think I am. I'm awful lucky, and that's really the truth. God blessed me with a lot of great experiences, and I had a great team. I have no idea what the legacy is. I've never worried about that. I've always just tried to do the best job I could, and then we'll let the historians debate that issue. Some people may be impressed by our growth, some people may be impressed by our facilities, some people may be impressed by the success of our students. All of those are legitimate reasons, but I believe that everyone would agree the university's better off after I left than what I found when I came, and that's all anybody can ask. I've always believed in dressing what I consider to be the role. And I tell students all the time, that you dress for success, and you need to dress like you want the next job. So if the next job is being a university president and you're vice president, you need to dress like a president. It became very clear to me the way you dress does impact how people behave and treat you. And so to set myself apart, I started wearing a lot of double-breasted suits. It's kind of weird doing this interview in a single-breasted suit, but that's the way it is. But I always started doing pocket swatches. Well, back in the 70s, pocket swatches were in, and you could buy pocket swatches with a tie on a regular basis. And when I couldn't find them, I'd buy 2 ties, and I'd cut one up and make a pocket swatch out of it. The students always they said, Dr. Hammond, is your pocket swatch really just a second tie that you cut up? And I always say, yes, it is. If you look at it, it's just a tie that's been cut that matches the tie that I'm wearing. And then to get it to form right, you go to your local bar and you get a coaster. And if you go to enough bars, you can get a lot of different size coasters that fit different size pockets of your suits. And you just kind of roll it up and you form a nice pocket swatch. And then you just stick the rest in your pocket and you get it to work. And it's always rounded and, in decent shape.